Hey guys, this is Sheldon, and today we're looking at the Jonathan Joestar Super Action Statue from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. So if you've never heard of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, it's a manga that came out, I want to say, in like 1986, and it's still ongoing, so it's pretty old series. It is broken up into different parts, and it's kind of weird. It follows a different main character every part, and there's 7 parts. I think the closest thing I can think of that's similar could be something like The Last Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra, where it's like the same universe, but different characters, and that kind of like goes in order. Or maybe even something like Digimon. So this one is from Phantom Blood, the very first part. So this is like back when they had Fist of the North Star, kind of like the old school shonen. So character design's kind of straightforward, but also like super muscular and buff. Okay, let's take a look at the figure itself, though. Let's take a look at the box it comes in, since it's out right here. So, looks pretty nice. Another Harlequin pattern, kind of this blue to red gradient. Accessories, different head, comes with a stand right there, or display stand. Got some side art. Got the window. Okay, kind of standard. Cool. I'm going to move it forward so we get a little better focus. Let's take a look at his accessories. So he comes with these 2 straight finger hands. You can see that they got these studs, and actually, if you look, you can see the folds, the creases on the finger and fingernails. So, pretty nice touch, pretty well sculpted. Let me see the palms, actually. Yeah, got some wrinkles in the gloves and things like that. Next, he has these, I don't know, like figure together hands. That's what I call them. Again, studs here. For his poses. If you know anything about Jojo, too, the characters all do some pretty ridiculous poses, and that's because the mangaka uses fashion magazines for his references. It's pretty great. Okay, anyway, and then we have these 2 kind of different hands for holding his sword and scabbard, which I'll show you right here. Right here. Right, it's painted pretty well. I think mine, like, the paint's not so good right here. Looks like it's not completely painted right here. I think, yeah, kind of a bummer. But the sword does come out, and I don't know if you can see this, but on the handle it says luck, and then there's like a bloody P here that says pluck, and that's just kind of like a plot thing. And it does come out, and it's this nice kind of metallic. It's great. It's shiny. Looks pretty good, well sculpted. And then it just goes in like so, if I can do it on camera. Right, fits in pretty well. And then the scabbard fits into the other hand pretty well. It goes in easily, but sometimes it doesn't actually grip that well. So it's good and bad. It doesn't feel like you're going to break the figure while you're going to put the scabbard in, but sometimes it does fall off. You can see here too, we got this nice little texture, and it's painted okay, pretty good for such a small piece. Alright, and then he also comes with an alternate kind of angry aggressive head. Hair sculpted pretty nice. It's a lot of individual pieces right here too, and it's textured. There's a bit of shading there. And the face, pretty nice. I really like the eyes. And then last but not least, he comes with a backpack. Just kind of what his character wears. And then to help you put it on, it's just like kind of pegs in on both sides here. So you just take it off, loop his arms around, and then put it back. And then I believe this is the last thing, unless I'm forgetting something. He comes with like an extra peg, and this is to help the display stand. It's like this extra long peg to help you peg through the backpack. And into the back of the figure itself. Okay, but speaking of figure, let's take a look at it. Alright, let's see, where did it go? Okay, cool. So, when this figure was first announced, I was excited that we're going to get a Jonathan Joestar figure, period. Oh man, focus. No. But I actually wasn't super excited about the design because it's kind of plain, and it actually looks a lot like another figure they have already, Joseph's Joestar, which is actually right here. So similar color scheme. I mean, kind of similar aesthetic, just kind of like the midriff, bare arms, got brown boots. So wasn't super excited. But when I got it in hand, my opinion changed simply because it's actually a pretty big figure, and despite looking kind of similar, it looks different enough. I mean, it's a different shade of blue, different hair color, but it's got like these brown trims. The belt's pretty nice, and I gotta say, it's a hefty, big figure. Let me see if I can get a measurement for you guys, though. Get this glare out a little bit. Let's see. So, stands about... Ooh, it's so dark. About 7 inches. A little taller than the typical. And its legs are spread out. But let me see. Let me give you these sticky fingers for scale. Right here. So it goes only to about his shoulders. And also, for a more familiar scale, we got a Figma link. Right, so yeah, about his chest. So this guy's pretty big. He feels pretty massive. He's got some definite weight to him. So I did like that about him. The thing that stood out to me right away, though, are the proportions, specifically at the wrist and the ankles, maybe. It doesn't bother me so much. And the waist, it's kind of like this weird stylized anime portion. So it was okay. It's kind of like this V-shaped back. But the wrists definitely bothered me. And the hands, considering how big the figure itself is. Okay, but we'll get to that later. Let's look at the articulation. So it's got the swivel. It's like this ball hinge. Alright, so just like the sticky fingers, so you can go all the way. Pretty good amount of articulation backwards. Pretty decent amount forward. It's got a ball peg at the base of the neck, so it's pretty good. Yeah, combined, it looks all the way down. Pretty good amount up. It is limited by the hair, though. For the shoulders, we have what looks like a butterfly joint. So it clicks forward, and clicks back. Looks like it only clicks back. Oh, it should go back pretty far. Let me see. Like, yeah, one click back, one click forward. Okay, so pretty good. Let me see how far you can bring it across, though. Okay, so it's decent. It's decent. For the shoulders, you might have noticed too, he's got these, I guess, sleeves or shoulder pads, but they also just rotate with the arm, so it doesn't impede the articulation. You can kind of get out of the way. It's nice. For the shoulders, looks like we have a hinge, so it goes all the way around. No problem here. You got a bicep swivel. Got the double jointed elbow right here. Okay, and I believe again, pegs into the bicep, pegs into the forearm, so it should swivel on both ends here. Looks like you have a disc peg in the wrist. Pop that out. Yeah. Right there. So it's nice. Get some good angles with that one. The arms, when you put them straight, do look pretty ugly though. It's so weird. It's so big right here, and then it's tiny all of a sudden, and the joint is just super visible. The bicep is pretty big. The bicep itself is okay actually, but it's mostly like this elbow here. So I mean, it's good range of motion, but it does look weird from certain angles like that. It just doesn't look right. Like the tricep is just so much bigger than the shoulder. Okay. For the waist though, let's see, I believe it's a ball peg right here. So it's kind of tight. Okay, so actually pretty decent range of motion backwards. Forward, it's okay. It's alright. The waist here, I believe it's another ball peg. Yeah, so because of how it's sculpted too, because it's mostly horizontal, you can't get too far because it does get in the way. Let's see, combined, it's kind of limited. That's pretty much it. And backwards is actually better now. It's okay. It's mostly up here is pretty good. Let's see, for the hips, we got a ball joint right here. Yeah, ball joint. So pretty decent range of motion here, pretty good range of motion. Well, it's okay going forward. The Sculpt does kind of impede it. So you got these like big thighs right here. Pretty decent range of motion going backwards, side to side. It's okay. Double jointed knee. I would say about 90 degrees. Again, the boots kind of get in the way. It should swivel at the knee. Right here. Yep. But not down here. And for the ankles, this much going forward, that much going back. You got a bit of an ankle rocker here. Again, the side of the boots kind of come down, so it does limit the articulation, and so, it does here too. It's also got a toe hinge. So ankle articulation is like not the best, and it's kind of decent. So that does it for articulation though. In terms of paint and sculpt, is really where this figure shines. He's got kind of all these, you can see these folds sculpted into his shirt here. He's kind of got like that little fold right there to make it look like his shirt's super tight. He's got wrinkles over here, got wrinkles in the ankles and boots and things like that. So sculpted super well. He's got shading throughout. And I like how the belt actually kind of has this like flat finish, and then like the kind of shiny gold comes out really nicely here. But yeah, other than that though, I would say proportions kind of weird. Paint sculpt are great. Articulation could be better. He doesn't come with too much stuff with him, so I guess he doesn't have a lot of weird sculpts to impede his movement. Let me show you though, the backpack before I forget. So yeah, to put it on, kind of just loop it around, put it around like that, and then you just kind of peg it in back here. Do that really quickly. Alright, and this is actually a standard look. So, for sure on the shelf, when you look at him, even though the design is kind of simple, it's a pretty nice figure, and it looks great, simply because it's so big. Mine has a couple of issues though, like this kind of scratch here. Came out of the box like that, which is a bummer, but I mean, that's just kind of individual figure to figure. But overall, I'd say if you're a Jojo fan and you're looking for all the protagonists, pretty easy pickup. It is a Joestar, a protagonist, right? If you're not a fan of Jojo and you're just kind of into figures, I would say the design is kind of simple, but once you see it in person, or maybe if you have a chance to kind of hold it in hand, this figure actually looks pretty nice. It's basic, but it's just kind of, it does a lot well, and it looks good on its own, kind of even just as a standard male. So if you're into figures, I would say it's a pretty good pickup. It does tend to be a little bit more expensive, I believe, maybe like $5 or $10 more than typical. But yeah, overall, not bad. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and if you liked the review, feel free to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe. I will be trying to review the rest of my collection slowly, but yeah, thanks for watching. I'll have them in a couple of poses at the end.